Hi everyone, it's Annabelle. Welcome back to my channel. In today's video we're going to be unboxing some new Vandas from Vanda Orchids. I only ordered 3. Basically, one of my Vandas bloomed out incorrectly from my last big Vanda order in summer. It turned out it was another MV tannins, and I didn't need another MV tannins because they're huge and I've already got one. So I sent an email to Klassen explaining the situation and saying I didn't want 2, and it's unfortunate that this had come mislabeled because they're such big plants, and they apologised and sent me a discount code for the full value of the orchid refunded off my next order. So of course I had to place another order. So I placed an order for 3 more Vandas because I'm finding that my Vandas are responding really well at the moment. I'm really happy with how they're doing for the most part. I'm tweaking things to try and optimise because I'm growing in a very experimental way, and there was always going to be a steep learning curve with this method. But I'm really happy that I can grow them, and I've bloomed several now and I've got good root growth and they seem relatively happy, and I can only think that my new environment is going to be even better for them, especially at the moment with how hot it is, but the light that they're getting is really great. So I wanted to make room for a few more in my collection. So let's get on with the unboxing and I'll show you what I got from Klassen. This arrived within a week from shipping. It was pretty much exactly 1 week actually. It was delayed a little bit from the expected delivery date, but I guess with the current circumstances we can just expect orders to be delayed a bit, and arriving within a week is perfectly fine. Packaged well. I was very happy with my last Vanda haul from Klassen, so I'm kind of looking forward to seeing what I've got here. They were quite big plants last time, so first one doesn't look huge, but it looks very healthy. Relatively good roots. It's kept in a little net pot. Oh, so this is the Vanda Violet Aroma. So I think this might be a Mimi Palmer hybrid. Looking at the picture, if not a Mimi Palmer, but I can't find this actual hybrid registered, and sometimes their names are a little bit iffy, I would say that. There's another example in here of one that I've kind of done a bit of detective work on the ID, but I'm pretty sure it is what it says. But the Violet Aroma does look like a Mimi Palmer, so I'm hoping that it is. Okay, so this next one is looking super healthy. Loads and loads of roots. They're like coiled round and round as if they've been kept in a pot, bare root, which seems likely the way that they're coiled. Loads of roots, loads of root tips. One of the leaves is yellowing at the stem. It looks like where it's bent, or the root has maybe pierced through it. Not actually pierced through, so it's just maybe bent in transport, maybe when it was imported. So this is a Renanthera storeii crossed with the Bangkok Sunset, and this is a hybrid that I was really excited about because it's got a deep red take on the sunset flowers, slightly larger looking flowers. Hopefully it'll still have a lovely fragrance. Renantheras don't tend to be fragrant, so that might bring the fragrance down a bit, but it looks like a gorgeous flower shape and colour, and also with the Renanthera influence it might take better to being potted more immediately without root loss. So as I'm going along, I'm just popping these in some buckets of nutrients that I've got behind me to soak. Okay, there are 2 more in here and I only ordered 3 Vandas, so we'll go with it. This Vanda looks super healthy. Got a few cakeys at the base, nice large sized Vanda, lots of growing tips that look like they've dried, unfortunately. Right, so this is saying it's the Vanda Violet Aroma again. So I ordered a Violet Aroma and I ordered the big Violet Aroma, so I guess I ordered this one. So the first one that I got didn't say big on it, so I guess they sent me another one. I don't know if they didn't feel like the big was big enough. It's funny that I complained to them about having duplicate and then they sent me another duplicate. But, you know, it's a free gift. I can't exactly complain at that, but it's a bit odd, isn't it? If it's fragrant, I'm happy having doubles, but if not, then I guess giveaway time at some point. Okay, so it looks like we saved the best for last. This is absolutely huge. This is another Bangkok Sunset cross, which I'm super excited about, and this time it's crossed, well, on their website it says it's Bangkok Sunset Wilas orange big plant. Done a bit of detective work, and the Perreiraara Tony Tam Keng Yam is Perreiraara Bangkok Sunset crossed with Vanda Wilas, and the flowers look identical to the ones that Klassen have put up for this. So I think that this is the Perreiraara Tony Tan Kem yam, that's a mouthful, isn't it? Loads of growing root tips, a couple of little spider webs in there, but I think they're actual spider nests, not just spider mites. I'm not sure if I can get it to focus, but they look more like spider webs. And there is a bit of webbing on the plant, but given that there's some nests in there, I think that is actual spiders. Okay, so I've just put them all in their nutrient buckets to soak. Oh, and there's also a free pen. I don't know if the packer has accidentally dropped that in. Obviously, I'll be washing my hands thoroughly after unboxing before touching anything else. So I'm just going to clean up and show you the orchids again. So they're soaking in their nutrient solution and they look really good. I'm really happy with them. I'm going to leave them soaking for a little bit. This is the Renanthera across with the Bangkok sunset. Really nice looking plant, great roots. Just going to let it soak up. It's about 33 degrees Celsius in here at the moment. Nice growing root tip. And I'm just going to sit them in this bucket for a few hours and just let them soak up as much as they want from this seaweed nutrient solution. This is normal tap water with rain mix added, so it's going to have loads of calcium and magnesium in there, and also seaweed. And these are one of my violet aromas. Just drinking up the nutrients in there. And then this one is the Bangkok sunset crossed with Wilas, which is the Tony. Let's call it Tony because that's a mouthful. So Tony is drinking up in the bath. Loads of growing root tips. Really happy. They're great plants, really big, really healthy looking. So I'm going to let these soak for as long as possible. They've had a bit of a stressful shipping. It's been very hot. There's a few signs of dehydration on them, not many. Obviously when they're in a dark box, they're not going to be metabolizing as fast, they're not going to be transpiring as much, so they're less likely to dehydrate. But still, it's been quite hot and there's a bit of wrinkling on the leaves, so I'm just going to let them sit, chill. Well, not chill, it's really hot. But I'm going to rehydrate them and get as much seaweed and nutrients and water into them as possible. And then I'm going to pot them up. I'm going to pot them into a semi-hydroponic modified setup with some new pots that I got called Ercole pots, which are like air pots. As the actual external pots, then I'm going to put an external reservoir on them in the form of a deep saucer. So they're going to have a wicking, constantly moist setup, but with loads of aeration, which is what a lot of Vandaceous types really seem to want from their media. Some will take to a normal semi-hydroponic setup, no problem. Others need a little bit of adjustment. While I do that, I'm going to set up my new air cooler. I ordered this from Amazon yesterday. We're having a heat wave. The conservatory is getting to like 34 to 35 degrees Celsius and like 30% humidity. And my Oncidium and Miltoniopsis types are just so dry. So I decided to try something a little bit more extreme than just the little fan I've got going. So I'm just going to set this up. Arrived pretty much overnight, even though it wasn't on Prime, which is really impressive. I'll put the brand down in the description. Obviously, I've bought this with my own money. I'm not being sponsored or anything by any of these companies or products or anything. So I've bought this and I just want to try it out. It's an air cooler with a water reservoir that's used to get the like evaporative cooling effect. And you can put ice in the reservoir and it also helps to humidify. What I'm finding is my fan that I'm using at the moment to try and get the temperatures down is also causing a lot of dryness. So I thought a kind of more moist cooling might be an option. I'm not sure how effective it's going to be. The conservatory is quite large. I don't know how much it's going to lower the temperatures by, but I thought it was worth a try, if only to use as a fan that doesn't dry out the orchids as much, to be perfectly honest. I'm happy if it only lowers the temperature to the same extent as a normal fan would at this size. It wasn't much more expensive than a heavy duty fan would be. So I'm just going to get it out and set it up. Quite large, so first impressions are pretty good of it. It's quite solid. Let's get rid of that box. Obviously I'm still moving, so all the boxes that you see around, they are being used frequently. So it looks very smart. It's got like an LCD type display. Comes with casters as well, which I'm going to fit. It's got a 10-litre water tank reservoir, so hopefully that'll last even during the really hot days. That's something that I wanted to prioritise, having something that I don't need to fill up multiple times a day. And what I thought I'd do is just fill up like a huge milk bottle or drinks bottle full of ice and put that in there. It does come with some cooling ice packs, and I have ordered extra as well, so I can just have loads and loads of ice in the tank. Just going to set this up at the back here. So the plug is just wound up in the water reservoir drawer, so I've just untangled that. That's all the fixtures and fittings there is. I'm just going to attach the casters to the bottom, and I think we're good to go. I just need to open the vents before I plug it in, and then I need to fill up the water tank before I turn it on. So I've literally just turned it on. This is our starting temperature, 34.9 degrees Celsius. It's been climbing steadily, and 37% humidity, and that is, I think, where I sprayed all the orchids down this morning. I tried to raise the humidity and also combined a pest treatment with that spray down, so that raised the humidity temporarily, which has been steadily going down with the temperature coming up. So hopefully this will help to combat that rising temperature at the very least. I don't want it going up to 35, 36 degrees Celsius for any long periods of time in here, and we're only about 12 o'clock. This is it in action, so it's like recycling the water through the machine and then that's pouring back down into the tray. I've got it on the high speed wind setting with the cooling action, which utilises the evaporative effect and the water tank. You can set it to just a humidifier option, which uses more water, I think, but at a lower wind speed. So I thought I'd better put it on the cooler at a high speed, try and get the temperature down. But in like a normal day when it's just kind of 28 degrees Celsius, I can just have it on the humidifier function, which is like a low wind speed and will also humidify. So that's an option for just when it's dry and a little bit warm, but not like hot like this. These are all my Vandas. I potted them up while the cooler's been running, multitasking my stages of unpacking and sorting the orchids out. These are the Ercole pots that I was saying about. So they've got ventilation slits down the side and they're also corrugated to put more aeration into the middle. So these are all still in wicking systems, variations of self-watering or semi-hydro, mixes of pumice, leca and lava rock. I'm putting more and more lava in with the Vandas because they seem to really respond well to it. These are still in wicking systems. They have trays and reservoirs of water. They've just got pots that have like corrugation and ventilated sides, and they seem to really respond well to this. And maybe the key to keeping Vandas in inorganic wicking systems is actually the air ratio in the pot, not necessarily that they dislike the moisture, because I found that that isn't the case. But for some of them, they really seem to need that extra oxygenation with the water. I've seen some respond really well to this. I'm also using these baskets for some of my smaller Vandaceous types, which have a solid base, and I've put a saucer in there to act as a small reservoir. So with these ones, mixture of lava rock, pumice and leca for all of my Vandaceous types, and I think I'm going to switch more Vandas into these sort of setups and see how they respond. Obviously they're all doing well in the setups they are in, but I really want to tweak and improve this to the best that I can possibly have it, and some of my Vandaceous types definitely want more oxygen aeration ratio. I think there is a distinction between constant moisture and aeration, because some of my Vandas that weren't doing so well in semi-hydro, I switched into Orchitop pots and they responded pretty much instantly, even though they were constantly wet in a wicking system. They also had loads of airflow and loads of root tips reactivated on those few that were struggling. So I think that the oxygen ratio in the pot is really key, and that doesn't necessarily need to mean that the roots are dry for there to be that airflow. So that's something I'm playing around with. Just going to take a look again at the fan cooler system and see, it seems to have brought the temperature down a little bit already. It's only been an hour or two since I set it up, so I think that this is quite a positive change considering we're now in the hottest part of the afternoon and the temperature's gone down instead of up, so obviously it's battling with that temperature rise. I'll keep you guys updated. Maybe it won't be any good, but I thought it was worth a try as opposed to an expensive fogger type system or an aircon unit. So we'll see how it goes. Thank you so much for watching today. This was probably a bit of a random mashed up video of Vandas and new equipment and updates, and I hope it's been interesting. Thank you so much for watching, and if you did enjoy this video, don't forget to give it a like or subscribe to my channel for more regular updates, and I'll see you guys all later. Bye!